Well, good morning. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, and fightbackmediatv.com. Trust that you are well here on this Monday morning, December 5th. It's a lovely day out in West Central Florida. We've had a beautiful weekend. It has been in the high 70s, low 80s. Humidity is down. It's gorgeous, really. I know you may not come here. And yes, if you come here, you must go home. Yeah, because we are full up, no vacancies. Thank you so much. That's that Southern hospitality. Yeah. How do you get to downtown? Same where you come. Yeah, let's go. Get out. Um, Interesting stories today. One of them is a story about the a trans music teacher that's sort of enjoying the confusion that they are causing amongst their students. Told you, this ain't woke. This is evil. Um, we're going to talk about what the rank and file rail workers think about the president's actions in averting the latest rail strike, and who's he really siding with, and who's he really siding against. Kristi Noem has decided to ban TikTok from her state, government, employees, telephones. Okay. All right. We'll be back right after these messages. Well, hey everybody, my name is Willie Lawson, and you guys know that I do a lot of stuff on the internet. And you may think with what's happening on Twitter and what's happening on Facebook and what happened to Parler that the mainstream social media sources are really trying to rid themselves of conservative voices. And you'd be right. They most certainly are. Um, but you know what? It isn't as bad as you think it is. It's worse. But there are people who are willing to be platformed for free speech. One of those one of those places is freedomforum.website. Freedomforum.website. You can go there and speak your mind. So come join us. Enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the fun. If you are a true blue conservative, small businesses are near and dear to your heart. They are the lifeblood of our life and economy. I believe this, and that's why my florist is not a website or phone number. My florist is Blooming Days Flower Shop, Tampa's premier flower shop. At 11618 North Florida Avenue here in Tampa, Florida, and at 6835 State Road 54 in Newport Richey. Call Christine at 813-933-1942 and at 727-232-6900. She can also be reached on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. One of the things that I get asked most is where can I get information that is not tainted with liberal bias, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. Well, now I have the answer. tbctampa.com, a website by and for Tampa area conservatives. Tampa's leading conservative voices speak freely at tbctampa.com, and you can too. So join the fun and enjoy the freedom at tbctampa.com. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. Welcome back. My name is Willie Lawson. Again, this is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We trust that you are well today. It has long been my contention that the more confusion these people are in and can cause, the more painful it is for people, and the more that people are going to scream for relief. And that's kind of the whole idea of the left, to cause as much pain and confusion to people as possible. And this next story is connected to that in that way. We know, I mean, we all experience the Supreme Court making gay marriage, same-sex marriage, the law in the land, where everybody just would have had to accept it. And there were a lot of people, conservatives, people who said they were conservative libertarians, who were like, fine, whatever, I don't care. And there were those of us who were saying, this isn't the end of it, right? This wasn't the end of it. And it seemed like it was just, I don't know, seconds before there was a whole another thing, the transgender community wanting to share bathrooms and locker rooms, grown men who felt that they were women or even little girls, wanted to share bathrooms with the same bathroom that your 8-year-old daughter goes to, or the same dressing room at Target, which that I understand they still can. Yeah, it seemed like it was seconds before that happened, because this is how these things happen. The fire starts and then the fire spreads. You can't ignite a fire and expect it not to spread. If unattended, it will always spread. There is a, quote, transgender music teacher whose name is Blaine Baghart. He works with elementary students, of course, in the Cato Parish District of Shreveport, Louisiana. Some parents are upset because he proudly admits in 2 early November Facebook posts that he's just enjoying all the confusion of fire he's causing his students over his gender identity. Well, you think, well, why would he do this? Because of narcissism, because this makes this all about him, even though the all about him is concerning little kids. I mean, little kids, elementary school students, right? How narcissistic do you have to be to get enjoyment out of messing with a bunch of elementary kids? Anyway, the quote, non-binary educator, there's no such thing as non-binary, whose students address him as MX Baghart, Mix Baghart, MX, not MS or MR, MX. wrote, I'm not allowed to tell kids I'm trans or non-binary or that I'm not a girl. I showed up today with a new haircut and presenting much more mask than usual, more masculine. He's playing this game. The kids are all confused and asking why I have a mustache if I'm a girl. And if I'm Mr. Banghart now, why am I trying to look like a boy, etc.? This person is getting off, enjoying the attention because of the narcissism that he suffers from. He continued, I'm just ignoring the questions, rejecting them so I don't get in trouble. Though some of the reactions are hurtful, because he's hurt by some of the reactions from elementary students. He's an adult, quote, end quote. These kids don't mean harm. I'm mostly just enjoying all the confusion and quote, what I am, wondering what they're going to do when I have a mustache and a skirt later this week. Funny, huh? No, not funny. In the second post, Banghart says, I just had a parent ask me my preferred adjectives because she wanted to comment on one of my photos, but she wanted to use words that I liked hearing for myself because I'm a narcissistic monster. That's the kind of allyship I need. A plus. This wasn't the first time parents have spoke up about Banghart's attire and his interactions with students. During Dakota's Paris school board meeting held in March, parents expressed concern about a video posted on TikTok in which he voiced his frustrations over his inability to be out at work. The district's chief technology officer, Keith Hansen, defended Banghart at that meeting, according to Fox News. Hansen said, I have never spoken here as a parent or a parent of a student, but I am here today because this is important to me, my family, and most importantly to her, calling him her, Banghart. He's actually he's a dude. Let everyone see on public record that there are good people here ready to defend other good people from vile, bigoted hate. The only person that's hateful in this whole situation and mean and ugly is this, quote, teacher, end quote. It appears that Hansen is misconstruing Banghart's motives. This so-called educator is openly admitting that he is enjoying confusing children about gender and sexuality, and this may arguably be the left's true agenda. Really? Seriously. Is it? Oh yeah, I said that before. You guys know I said that before. Banghart was hired to teach music to Cato Parish Elementary School students, educating them on his perception of gender identity was never part of his job description. His delight over confusing young and impressionable children about his own gender dysphoria is contemptible. It's all about him because a lot of these folks do have this narcissistic disease. It's really all about them. The Western Journal reached out to the school district for comment. Here's their response. Cato Parish Public Schools cannot comment on personnel matters regarding individual employees of the school system. They ain't saying a word. Imagine some of these students competing in the real world 20 years from now with individuals who've been educated in more traditional school systems. They will be insisting that men can get pregnant, and sometimes doctors are wrong when they determine the sex of a newborn baby. This will put them at a disadvantage. Yeah. The only cure for this, for the school district, is that parents pull their children out. Just leave. You may or may not. You may say something on your way out, or you may not. But you should go. No, my kid can't go to that class. No. Okay. Well, you're a vile bigot and you're full of hate. Maybe. But my kid may not go to that man's class ever again. And if I hear that he's been in that man's class again, I will sue everybody here. I will have you arrested for child endangerment. I will. This is the way forward. So am I asking Mr. Banghart to go back in the closet? Yeah, I guess. What I'm asking him to do is just do his damn job. I don't know if he's a talented teacher or not. I don't know. I don't have any idea. Music being my background, I don't know. I don't know. My elementary school teacher, Daryl Bailey, was fantastic. And frankly, I don't know if Daryl Bailey was gay or not. I don't know. And I don't know if I would have known as an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old. I don't know. He might have been. I don't know. I think he passed away recently. So I'll have to ask somebody else. I don't know. What I know is that this dude at the Cato Parish public schools and the Cato Parish public schools, they need to learn a lesson, and the parents are the only ones who can teach them that lesson. No. What you've done, what you've said is enough for me to say, I'm done. I don't want you having access to my child. I don't want you having access to my kid. And that's the way you fix it. Ultimately, you pull your kid out of the school district as soon as you can afford to. As soon as you can afford to. You pull your kid out. You put them somewhere else. You put them in a charter school. You put them in a private school. You put them in a Christian school. You put them in you put them in a Hebrew school. I don't know where you put your kid, but you pull your kid out of that mess. It's the only way to save them, and it's the only way to save the culture. That's it. You can't let that have access and input into our children. Cannot, under any circumstances. We'll be back right after these messages. So is it okay now, because it was, during the Trump administration, it is okay to talk about the president's
yeah. We talked about mental health elderly, so let's talk about this guy's mental health.
The president's mental acuity, because there's sometimes where it seems to be lacking. Have you seen?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's especially bad. I'm talking about sometimes it's like really bad. Like, have you seen the picture?
I was told not to take any questions.
I was told not to take any questions. They're going to be mad at me.
They're going to be mad at me.
Mr.
President, are you the president, or were you 5?
You see, what I want. See, the next question is, excuse me, Mr. President.
I was told to call on what you call it for NBC. Who's telling you to call on?
That's the question that we ought to be asking. Who's telling you this?
I don't understand why nobody won't ask that question.
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Who's telling you to call on these people in the media?
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Probably so.
Well, hey y'all. You know, it's good for people to learn stuff, isn't it? It's good for people to learn who has their back for real. You know, when I was on death's door in 2014, almost 9 years ago, praise God, almost 9 years ago, uh, I relearned something that I knew. I knew that my family loved me. I did. But when you get to see it, when you're laying there helpless, literally helpless, and you get to see it, it hits a little different. It makes you a lot more humble. It makes you a lot more grateful. Uh, it made me a lot more weepy. Cried all the time, all the time, all the time. For 2 years, I think I cried for. I think I cried for 2 years, um, and it makes you work harder. So it's always better to know than not to know. The rank and file rail workers are learning something similar to that this week. As a matter of fact, some of them are actually calling out President Joe Biden after he forced the unions to accept the deals, claiming that the president has no concern for the quality of life of workers. A week after Congress voted to avoid a railway industry strike, rail workers are warning of the negative consequences of Biden's decision. In a 80 to 15 vote, Congress voted on 3 measures relating to the rail workers' demands, codifying an agreement negotiated by the White House and 12 of the nation's rail unions. Now, I'm not really sure how Congress gets in and negotiates a contract between workers and an industry. I'm guessing you would need some legal beagles, legal scholars to come in and tell me how that's okay, and you will. The director of communications of the Brotherhood of Maintenance of the Way Employees Division, Clark Ballou, said that the union will not forget who had their backs when they fought for paid sick days. He says this: "You can damn well bet that railroaders took note of who stood with us and who failed to support the basic common decency of paid sick days." Ballou represents the third largest rail union in the U.S. The rail union workers cautioned that Biden could face struggles in the next presidential election because Biden's slowly showing the true colors. Now, I'm not sharing any of this because people will do what they normally do. Um, this isn't a win for Republicans. Republicans went along with this madness. So this isn't a win for Republicans. This isn't a win for conservatives. It's not a win. This is only a loss. Will the rank and file rail workers be able to do anything about it? Well, I'll tell you the truth. No, because Biden was playing to their bosses and not to them. Was playing to their bosses, not to them. The picture I want to paint for you is this: when the humans came to the farm in the book Animal Farm. If you've not read the book Animal Farm, you need to. It's about this big, and it's an eye-opening explanation into what we're seeing. They didn't come and talk to all the animals on the farm. They only came to talk to the pigs who were in charge. They made all their deals with the pigs. They made all their contracts with the pigs. They never asked any of the other animals on the farm what they thought, how it was going to affect them. They only talked to the pigs. Biden only went to the union leaders because those union leaders are the people who write the checks. who have the influence, who can make the rail workers do pretty much whatever they want them to do. Biden's administration, and they know this. So they don't have to care that Mr. Blue is mad. They don't have to care that the rank and file railroad folks like mechanic Reese Murtaugh told CNN that Biden disappears when going gets tough. We have a pro-labor president who loves to, pat himself on the back for that. And when the going got tough, he turned his back on the people he's supposed to be looking out for. Now, Mr. Murtaugh is probably talking about his union president and the president of the United States. Now, the deal supposedly will raise workers' pay by 24% over the next 5 years. Now, they haven't had a raise in the past 5 years, I think, from 2020 through 2024, including an immediate payout on average of about $11,000 for ratification. The 4 largest U.S. unions asked for just 7 sick days. 7. It wasn't like they want unlimited sick days. 7. I get sick, I get hurt, I need to stay home. Which is interesting, isn't it, when you think about it? With all of the COVID stuff, what we have, if there's a lesson that we should have learned, if you are sick, if you are coughing and sneezing and hacking and wheezing, stay home. Don't go bring your disease to the workplace. If you're coughing, hacking, sneezing, wheezing, stay home. Stay home. If we've learned nothing else, we should have learned that. There isn't any reason to come to work and spread your disease everywhere. 7 days. They asked for 7 days. Congress, who doesn't have to worry about paid sick days, they get paid if they're sick. They get paid if they get tired. They get paid if they get bored and decide to go on vacation. They get paid anyway. So paid sick days don't mean anything to them. Railway workers, did you learn something? And if you learned something, are you really willing to bite the hand that enslaves you? Are you? I know you're mad, but how mad are you? We'll be back right after these messages. Well, hey everybody, my name is Willie Lawson, and you guys know that I do a lot of stuff on the internet, and you may think with what's happening on Twitter and what's happening on Facebook and what happened to Parler that the mainstream social media sources are really trying to rid themselves of conservative voices, and you'd be right, they most certainly are. But you know what? It isn't as bad as you think it is. It's worse. But there are people who are willing to be platformed for free speech. One of those places is freedomforum.website. Freedomforum.website. You can go there and speak your mind. So come join us. Enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the fun. If you are a true blue conservative, small businesses are near and dear to your heart. They are the lifeblood of our life and economy. I believe this, and that's why my florist is not a website or a phone number. My florist is Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, Tampa's premier flower shop. At 11618 North Florida Avenue here in Tampa, Florida, and at 6835 State Road 54 in Newport Richey. Call Christine at 813-933-1942 and at 727-232-6900. She can also be reached on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. One of the things that I get asked most is where can I get information that is not tainted with liberal bias, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. Well, now I have the answer. tbctampa.com, a website by and for Tampa area conservatives. Tampa's leading conservative voices speak freely at tbctampa.com, and you can too. So join the fun and enjoy the freedom at tbctampa.com. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. So is it okay now, because it was, during the Trump administration, it is okay to talk about the president's...
Yeah. We talked about mental health elderly, so let's talk about this guy's mental health.
The president's mental acuity, because there's sometimes where it seems to be lacking. Have you seen?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it's especially bad. I'm talking about sometimes it's like really bad. Like, have you seen the picture?
I was told not to take any questions.
I was told not to take any questions. They're going to be mad at me.
They're going to be mad at me.
Mr.
President, are you the president or are you five?
You see, what I want. See, the next question is, excuse me, Mr. President.
I was told to call on for NBC. Who's telling you to call on?
That's the question that we ought to be asking. Who's telling you this?
I don't understand why nobody won't ask that question.
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Who's telling you to call on these people in the media?
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Probably so.
All right, welcome back. Um, we've known, well, a lot of us have known that this company here, TikTok, is a Chinese company, and they have been accused of gathering data, spying on other parts of the world, including the US, interfering with elections and other activity here in the US. We also know that TikTok China is very different than TikTok USA on the kind of things that are shown. China believes in social engineering in a way that some of the things that are shown to young people, basically on TikTok China, are completely different than things that are shown to American teens. American teens are shown challenges that are foolish, outrageous, dangerous. They've they've shown they are being shown sexual content. Um, there's no twerking contest on TikTok China. American teens are being shown a lot of dance challenges, foolishness, stuff that is not uplifting or educational. While TikTok China, those children are being shown people who are successful academically, who are successful financially. They're being shown success, and basically TikTok China is showing American teens debauchery every time they get a chance, as far as they could go. So if you're looking for a reason to not have your kid be on TikTok, that's enough reason right there. That's enough reason. Now, I will tell you, there are some conservatives that I have found on TikTok that are fighting the battle, and it is a battle. They're fighting the battle on TikTok to have their content stay up, and a lot of people are. I mean, when I say battle, I mean you put a video up and in 4 minutes it's taken down. And I wish I was exaggerating, um, because you are saying something truthful. You're saying something that is uplifting, but it goes against the narrative that TikTok wants in TikTok USA. Yeah, that's what's going on with TikTok. I have a TikTok. Fight Back Media has a TikTok. We have experienced exactly the same thing. We've had some of our lives taken down in the middle of them. No, I don't do that. I don't do dance challenges. No. No, there's no twerking from Fight Back Media, and no content that you couldn't show your grandma. But we've had videos taken down. Yes, we've had lives stopped in the middle of our lives. We've been throttled and shadow banned and all that stuff. Yes, for doing stuff like this, like we're doing now, uh, especially doing COVID, uh, especially during the elections. Yeah. So, and on top of that, the amount of data gathered, TikTok knows who's on TikTok. TikTok knows who's on TikTok and where these people and where they are on TikTok. I have not put up a website in the past 10 years where I didn't know at least what city people who gone to the website were going to the website from. The this podcast gives us some uh, analytics that tells us where people are listening from. Not your house, but if you are in Albuquerque, New Mexico, or if you're in Tampa, Florida, or if you are somewhere in India, I can't pronounce any of your towns in India, I'm sorry, or if you're in New Zealand, some city in New Zealand. Yes. And we do that for marketing reasons. Now, there are some places that won't allow Spreaker to do that. So I may have data from states all around you and then no data from where you live. So what do? I take all of the listens data and I subtract what I know, and then I know where you are. If I can figure that out, a multi-billion, billion, trillion, billion dollar corporation like TikTok, they can figure that out. And because TikTok is accessible primarily on cell phones, it's even easier than my Wix.com websites and a lot more in depth. So Kristi Noem, governor of South Dakota, has implemented a ban on TikTok for all state employees on their government-issued devices over, it says speculation, over the truth that the app is used by the Chinese government to gather Americans' personal information. Now, you don't have to put in, I don't remember putting in much personal information. I think all I've put in is my email address. I think all that TikTok has for me is my email address. I think in my name, possibly, and Fight Back Media. Executive Order 2020-10 would ban federal workers, agencies, contractors from downloading the app onto their phones or visiting the website. In a statement, Noem criticized the Chinese Communist Party, saying that her state will have no part of it. Christians like, not me, not us. South Dakota will have no part in the intelligence gathering operations of nations who hate us. Noem said, adding that the Chinese Communist Party uses information it gathers on TikTok to manipulate American people. It does, just like I just told you about, and gather data on the devices that access the platform. Yes, now, it all goes together. So if I'm, hang on a second, grab my phone. In order to use my phone in the most helpful way for me, I almost have to allow T-Mobile or whomever to know where I am all the time. I almost have to allow Google to know, because it's an Android, where I am and what I'm doing all the time, especially if I'm going somewhere that I've not been before and I use the GPS functions or Google Maps or something like that, right? That's how we use these things now. Because of our serious duty to protect private data of South Dakota citizens, we must take this action immediately. I hope other states will follow South Dakota's lead, and Congress should take a broader action as well, Noem continued. TikTok, which is owned by a Beijing-based company, has been scrutinized by Republicans over the ability of the Chinese government to use the app to access Americans' online user data. More than 700 million people use the China-owned app worldwide, at least 100 million of them being here in the U.S. In 2020, former President Trump tried to ban social media platform, but ultimately failed. Meanwhile, several Republicans called out President Joe Biden for not taking TikTok as a national security concern seriously. Because why? Because what do we see on TikTok? We see teenage dance challenges, right? We see all the really stupid stuff, and people are like, this is a national security risk, right? 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 That's why. Representative Mike Gallagher, a Republican from Wisconsin, recently compared the social media app to fentanyl, claiming it's like digital fentanyl in that kids are becoming addicted to it. Kids become addicted to everything. My guess is that in 2 years, TikTok will be passe and it'll be something else. TikTok is owned by ByteDance. ByteDance is controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. That means the Chinese Communist Party can track your location, it can track your keystroke, it can censor your news. Why you would give out our foremost adversary that amount of power, Gallagher said, adding that it's like actual fentanyl. It's ultimately going goes back to the Chinese Communist Party. A lot of fentanyl comes from China. Most of it comes from China. Okay. What do you think? Write it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. All right. We have one more segment. I'm gonna ask some questions. You're not gonna like it, but it's gonna be good for you. We'll be back right after these messages. So is it okay now? Because it was, I mean, during the Trump administration, it's okay to talk about the president's.
Yeah, we talked about mental health elderly, so let's talk about this guy mental health.
The president's mental acuity, because there's sometimes where it seems to be lacking. Have you seen?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's especially bad. I mean, I'm talking about sometimes it's like really bad. Like, have you seen the picture?
I was told not to take any questions.
I was told not to take any questions. They're going to be mad at me.
They're going to be mad at me.
Mr.
President, are you the president or are you five?
You see, what I want. See, the next question is, excuse me,
I was told to call on what you call it for NBC. Who's telling you to call on?
That's the question that we ought to be asking. Who's telling you this?
I mean, I don't understand why nobody won't ask that question.
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Who's telling you to call on these people in the media?
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Probably so.
Well, hey, y'all. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. That guy there, that guy's me. I think I was 4 or 5. I got my suit on. I got my overcoat on. I'm standing out on the stoop to our house. I believe we lived in East Orange at the time, on 17th Street. There you go. I'm looking good. I'm looking super good. Looking super good. I had a little gut then too. I love this picture of me. But in any case, I wanted to use this picture because I have some very basic questions to ask conservatives and Republicans. What I want to know is, how come so many of you are led around by the left in such a reactionary manner? Kanye West says something you agree with, because again, even a broken clock's right twice a day. And then suddenly Kanye West is a hero for the conservative movement. Why? Because Candace Owens says he is? Or my friend Christopher Topher said, Christopher from Topher Town Music says he is. And I like Topher, I do. I think he has a pure heart about this. And I think that that's really the most important thing for me. I think that he has a pure heart about this. Because Officer Tatum, again, people who say something that you like, and suddenly they are the leaders of the movement. And this goes for Donald Trump too. They say something that ticks in your brain, and suddenly you just push them right out front until they go off the rails. And by going off the rails, I mean have positions that you are not ready to support. that you may not support, or may be too deep for you to really grasp, that may be more in depth than a bumper sticker or a t-shirt or a slogan. When Kanye starts talking about Jewish people, that's the third rail. When he starts saying, well, the Jews own this and the Jews own that, that's anti-Semitism, and that's the third rail, and you are off. You're done. But the left is going to hold you to that. The left is going to hold your face on that third rail there. Because you got off on Kanye because, I don't know what reason, but you did. You know, Steven Spielberg didn't win his first Oscar until Schindler's List, right? He directed a story about, he did Color Purple, Black people. Almost an entirely Black cast. Did not win the Oscar. Didn't win an Oscar until he did a story about Jewish people. Schindler's List, fantastic motion picture. Fantastic motion picture. And then Saving Private Ryan, another World War II motion picture. Too gory for me. Too realistic, I guess, for me. But didn't win an Oscar until he did a story about Jewish people. Why is that? I don't know. Why did Out of Africa win an Oscar over Color Purple? I don't know. Well, you have to answer that question for yourself. And even now, you're feeling uncomfortable because I seem to be pulling towards that anti-Semitic way. Except I'm just telling you what happened. So is Kanye just telling you what happened? Again, broken clock right twice today. I'm not trying to defend any Kanye statements, because Kanye is not where I have gained my conservatism from. I don't have to defend Kanye because I'm not in Kanye's camp. I don't have to defend anything that a dude named Nick Fuentes, is his name, has said, because I'm not in his camp. I don't know nothing about that fellow. This is the only dude I'm worried about right here. This guy in this picture. If you're not watching the video, if you're listening to the podcast, not watching the video, watch the video, and you'll see. The only guy I'm worried about is this guy in this video, who grew up into this guy. After seeing my nose is exactly the same. I'm watching this picture. I'm looking at this picture going, I think I had the same size nose then as a 5-year-old as I have now. I think my body just grew around this nose. Oh my gosh. Fortunately, my ears started to behave. My ears as a young person were a little sticky outy, but I think they started to behave. But this nose, wow. In any case, this guy here in this video, in this picture here, I was in my own camp. As I took in information, I took in knowledge, and I took in experience. I learned that I don't have to be in Kanye's camp or Nick Fuentes' camp or Donald Trump's camp or Ron DeSantis' camp. I don't have to. And if I agree with them on one point or the other, I don't have to defend everything they say. Just like you don't have to defend everything I say. That's a tool that the left uses to shut you up. They'll say, so what about that Nick Fuentes dude? And here's your response. What about him? I don't care. Well, he says he's conservative and he says this. Okay. He says he's a Christian, and he says this. I don't know. I only read the Bible. All I care about. I don't care what. I don't care what. I don't care what Joel Osteen says about this or that you're mad about. I don't care. I don't. I don't. I don't care what Nick Fuente says about this or that. I don't. That you don't like. I don't care. I don't care what Kanye West says about this or that you're mad about. I don't care, and I don't have to defend it. I don't. I don't care what Donald Trump says about this or that. I don't. I don't have to defend it. I don't. I don't. The only things I feel that I need to be able to defend are the things that I say. So that's why you have to be careful where you get your talking points. If you get your talking points from people that you don't know, agendas that you are not fully invested in, then you're going to find yourself on the stupid steps, not being able to defend anything and looking like a moron. Why we continue to do this, I do not know. I don't care what Candace Owens says. That you don't like. I don't care. I'm not here to defend Candace Owens. She's a grown woman. She can defend herself. You have a question about something she says, talk to her. If you have a question about something that Donald Trump says, talk to him. If you have a question about something that Kanye West said, talk to him. All those people are available on social media. Talk to them. Don't write me about them. Don't comment underneath here to me about them. You have access to them. Only talk about us to us. I don't expect anybody else to defend anything that we say. I don't. You have a problem with something I've said, talk to me. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. My name is Willie Lawson. This has been the Morning Report. Morning Report is published on fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Until we see you again, peace.